On a stormy evening on Monday, April 8th, 2019, the David Gleason era of the Guilford County Republican Party got off to an excellent start, as the new venue that the Guilford County GOP is having its meetings at now, the conference room at the Hilton Garden Inn on Big Tree Way in Greensboro, attracted a standing room only crowd of approximately close to 100 people or so. So that right there tells you that there's tremendous energy in the Guilford County Republican Party, despite some of the poo-poo reports that you get from the Greensboro News and Wrecker. I have to tell you, going to the meeting tonight, and this is not a stab against the previous chair, Troy Lawson, who I thought did a good job. Never had any issues or problems with him. But David Gleason really runs a very the ship's a little tighter. The mechanics of the meeting are just a little bit tighter, and they're lubricated, and they're working a little bit better than what I witnessed during the Troy Lawson era. So just a little observation there. The meeting got started a minute early at 6:59 p.m., which that just tells you right there, how much of a commitment to the agenda and the time that Mr. Gleason is. What I'm trying to say, he has a commitment to time, and the agenda, all the items on the agenda tonight. They had call to order, introduction, pledge 7 to 7:05, 7:05, 7:10, speaker time 7:10 to 7:30. Yeah, you get the gist, but definitely a very well-oiled machine. Tina Forsberg, after we had our pledge and the prayer and everything, former vice chair Tina Forsberg, although I'm glad to see she's still taking a prominent role in the party, is organizing they're having a Lincoln Reagan Day dinner on Saturday night, this Saturday, April 13th at 6:30. But they're also going to plan an even bigger Lincoln Reagan Day dinner next year. And basically, Tina Forsberg is going to be the point person for that. She also mentioned that a little bit about other things that are going to happen within the party. Guilford County, it's not just Greensboro. And actually, this year, what happened in 2017, legislation passed in the city of Greensboro to have the municipal elections for the city of Greensboro every 4 years as opposed to every 2 years. So the next election for Greensboro, where I live, will not be until 2021. However, there are still believe it or not, seven municipalities in Guilford County that are going to have elections this fall. And the biggest one is High Point. And High Point, believe it or not, is the largest city in North Carolina under GOP control. Now, in my opinion, I work in High Point, and I got to tell you, Wendover Avenue was bleh. They spend all this money on a baseball stadium because they just don't. They want to try to keep up with the Joneses. In other words, Winston-Salem and Greensboro has their baseball stadium, so here comes a little sister High Point into the room. I want my baseball stadium too. Instead of upgrading what is badly in need of upgrading, there's Wendover Avenue as well as Penny Road, and the traffic in High Point compared to Greensboro is just no bueno. And as a fellow Republican, yeah, High Point deserves better, in my opinion, for the leadership there. But now on to some good things. Our guest speaker tonight, and I'll admit I'm still in the honeymoon phase of Guilford County politics, so my videos are overwhelmingly positive, especially when I talk about Guilford County. The Republican Party mechanics are going to be overwhelmingly positive because I'm still kind of in that honeymoon period. I have not even been here quite a year yet. But the guest speaker tonight, I think, is doing a very good job as a county commissioner, and that is Mr. Alan Branson, who is not only a county commissioner, he's the quote unquote chairman of the commission board. He's the commissioner in District 4. He's the owner of a trucking company, and this trucking company serves North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. He's running for his third term in 2020. I would say he's very conservative, which is good in my opinion. What's been happening is that the county commission, especially right now, you have 5 Republicans and 4 Democrats. Okay, so this election coming up is going to be very pivotal. If the Republicans lose one seat, just one seat on the county commission in 2020, then the chamber is going to flip to Democratic control. And right now I can tell you that according to Mr. Branson, the Democrats on the board want duplicate studies of things that have already been done by the city of Greensboro, like transportation and affordable housing and things of that caliber. Some good things that are happening in the county. There's a new EMS facility is going to be built, and a new mental health facility. And this mental health facility is going to be pretty top notch because Cone Health is the company that's right on top of the construction paperwork. They're going to have a building for adults and a building for children there at that mental health facility. And one of the things I admire about Mr. Branson was his dad was a fireman, and well, so was mine too, for 20 years. So Mr. Branson definitely has a commitment to public safety, which is a very good thing. And in my opinion, it's something that the Republicans need to do a better job of, is commit more funding to our police and our firefighters and our paramedics. Because it just seems that, and a lot of the things I've read, is that unfortunately a lot of firefighters, the International Firefighters Union, they endorse Democratic candidates 99% of the time. So anything a Republican can do to help the public safety and the firemen is great in my book. Mr. Branson, he also says, look, I don't like incentives, and I wish the state and the federal government would back him up on this and pass legislation against incentives. And I completely agree with Mr. Branson. The only type of incentives that I support are ones for the film industry, because North Carolina used to have a thriving film industry up until about 4 or 5 years ago. And then all the projects that went to Georgia or Louisiana, all the projects that were ticketed from North Carolina, they're now in Georgia and they're now in Louisiana. And guess what? Georgia and Louisiana are deep red Republican states. North Carolina is a light red Republican state, but still it's a Republican state. And you know, across the board, these film incentives, they create jobs, and they create economic opportunity for everybody on the spectrum. You know, they create jobs for extras that pay only minimum wage, but still it's some money coming out. You know, they guess what, movies, they go to local suppliers, you know, local grocery stores, local crafts people, flowers, florists. All these local businesses benefit for the film industry. Especially down in the Wilmington area. Well, it used to benefit. Now it doesn't anymore because, unfortunately, former Republican Governor Pat McCrory killed the film industry with some legislation in that aspect. Anyway, back to Guilford County politics, not Wilmington politics. Here we go. He said Guilford County is growing, but it's a very slow growth. It's 1 to 2%. And he says a thing that Mr. Branson's goal is he's trying, and his goal really over the last 8 years has been trying to find the driving force of Guilford County, trying to find something that will really jumpstart the growth to where it's more 4 to 5%, or it's more of that Raleigh and that Charlotte level growth, if you get my gist. One more thing I'll say about this new EMS facility. The location of this facility is going to be very, very good. It's going to be right off of I-85 and Vandalia Road. It's going to be in south central Guilford County. And, it's going to have great access to I-85, and I-85 is connected to all the loops and the spurs of the interstate system right here in Greensboro. It's going to be very beneficial to Guilford County. And this is something that's been on the docket, the drawing board, for 20 years. And finally, thanks to Alan Branson's leadership, this EMS facility is being built right now. In the past, we've had commissioners that just kick the can down the road, and these buildings, these public safety buildings, they just keep getting older and more obsolete, which is not good for anybody, because, EMS is a service that you have to provide to everybody, right? This is not a Lamborghini or an Audi car dealership. This is emergency medical services, okay? And I'm sure that sometime in your life you have had to have emergency medical services, or somebody who has had emergency medical services too. It's just one of those things, right? Okay, so now we're going to go into some reports from some of the party officers. Chris Meadows, the first vice chair of the party, he's going to be the point person over the next 2 years who's going to be in charge of fundraising for the party. And what he wants to do is he wants to organize meet and greets all around Guilford County, and this is something that he wants to get organized by himself, but also the district chairs. And he thinks this is a good way to invite new people into the Republican Party, and I think it's a great idea too. After that, let's see, we had Miss Alyssa Batts. She is second vice chair, and her bread and butter that she's going to consume over the next 2 years is going to be in social media and the websites. Let's see, and she talked a little bit about that at length. A lot of it's stuff that you and I already know, so I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on it. Paul Daniels, he talked about he's going to be in charge of precinct organization as well as the plan of organization. Sebastian King just gave a good pep talk about 2020. And then we had Treasurer's Report, and we had the budget, which we were told in an email sent by Chairman Gleason, as well as at tonight's meeting, to not share any information about the finances, which is fine with me. Okay. Then Alyssa Batts, who is also wearing another, she's consuming another type of cuisine for the next 2 years. That will be in the category of precinct organization. So her and Mr. Daniels are going to share that role. There's a new, if you go on the Guilford County Republican Party website, you'll notice a tab that says precinct organization, okay? And if you click on there, you can find who your precinct chair is if you know your address, which hopefully you do. And then it'll have what are the duties. In other words, I'm a precinct chair, so what do I have to do to be an effective precinct chair? A little bit of sad news on this front. We only have 25% of the precincts filled in Guilford County. Then again, there are 165 precincts in the whole county, and the county, the northwest part where I live is very conservative. The south part moderate, but the central and the east part, the east and the northwest are very conservative. Unfortunately, the majority of the population lives in central and the south part of the county, and that's your dark blue precincts, and those we're going to have some Alyssa and the executive team are really going to have their hands full getting precincts out of the dark blue Guilford County. But as Marcus Kinley said back in the February meeting, really, if you want Guilford County to be effective for Republican candidates, all you got to do is really you run up the score in the Northwest and the rural East, okay, and then you have 5 kind of swing precincts that are kind of right between the Greensboro and Guilford County line right there. But let's see. Oh, and probably the most brilliant quote of the night, besides something I said later in the meeting, but other than what I said, was Alyssa said probably one of the best questions of political activism that I've heard in quite a long time. And that is, she said, what's the most important issue to voters in your precinct? And what you do is you walk around your precinct, you go around, and you just, ask people what's the most important issue. And after that, you share the information with the county party, and the county party will send some people out to your neighborhood that says, oh, is education your most important issue? They'll send out somebody from the school board who's conservative, or if transportation is your issue, they'll send somebody from DOT who's conservative, or a county commissioner who's conservative, something like that. So that is a great, definitely a good question to ask when you're doing door knocking in your precinct, which hopefully most of you that are watching this YouTube video are doing that right now, or you're planning to do so very soon, because 2020 is going to be here very quickly, very quickly. Let's see, continuing the agenda here. Of course, we had the club updates. The Republican women, they always have all their club announcements good. And see, Convention of States is going to have a rally on Wednesday, April 10th, which is just 2 days from now. There's a little shock and awe in the crowd tonight. Oh my gosh, that's the day after tomorrow. And I'm a big supporter of the Convention of States. And I wish there was a lot more advance notice given to this so I could take the day off work and go to Raleigh too. But, oh well. April 24th is going to be the next Young Republicans meeting. June 15th is the March for Trump rally put on by my good friend Peter Boykin. He's trying to find a location in Greensboro to have it, but he does have a date set of June 15th. And then another YR event on July the 6th, and that is going to be Colonel Allen West, the former and excellent conservative congressman from South Florida. Allen West will be the speaker at that event. Okay. Finally, the most important part of the meeting is talking about these district conventions that are coming up. Lee Haywood, who's a guy I really like. Unfortunately, he doesn't run my district. He's in District 6. I'm in District 13. But, of course, he wanted to announce that the district convention is going to start Saturday. Registration begins at 12. The convention begins at 1. It's in the courthouse in Asheboro. Admission is $25, but you do get a hot dog lunch provided by the Rockingham County Men's Republican Group. So there you go. But more importantly, the 13th District, the mighty, there's only one WJZ TV 13 Baltimore. Right? The 13th District here in North Carolina, our convention is also on Saturday. Registration begins at 10 a.m. The convention will gavel right at 11 a.m. If you're not there by 11, bye-bye. Hit the road, Jack. Don't come back, all right? It'll be in Moxville, the Davie County Courthouse. Gay Dillard is going to run for district chair, which I think is a great idea because she lives in Guilford County. The current chair, Mr. Zach Kratz, lives somewhere in the middle of Nowheresville, like 30 miles south and west of Winston-Salem and Greensboro. He just I don't know, you might live in a van down by the river for all I know, but still, I've heard good, effective leadership from District 6 and so many good things going on with them because of Lee Haywood's excellent job. But Zach Krotz, I don't know what's going on. So, but hopefully, after Lord Will Gay Dillery gets elected to District 13, we'll have better leadership there and people will be able to know more about what's the 13th District all about besides being the home of the great Ted Budd, right? But I posed the question at the end of the meeting, being like, I said, I have a question pertaining to 13th Congressional District Convention. I want to know what is the process for becoming a at-large member of the State Executive Committee. I said I was interested in that. And, of course, right after the meeting, Lee Haywood told me that and every district is different. Because last Saturday I was at the 10th Congressional District, and basically the county chairs of each county read off a list of names. Okay, so sometimes these at-large members are already predetermined. Okay, but in this case, and also was the case several years ago when I was down in 7th District there in southeastern North Carolina, when what Lee Haywood told me was going to happen was, he said that it's obvious that tonight 13th District does not have their members yet. So what will happen is each county will caucus with each other and they'll vote and select who's going to represent them in the State Executive Committee. And the good news for me is that I am in a Guilford County is split in 2 districts. However, a good 75% of the county is in District 13, which is my district. Okay, 6th District only takes up like 25% of Guilford. But another thing is Guilford County is the 3rd largest county in the state. So there's going to be, I think Lee said, at least 7 or 8 slots that are going to be available on the district committee. Sure, I believe that is all I have to say. Oh yeah, tonight was another one of those nights. Like, let me say this to the Mr. Gleason and his leadership team. If we're going to have a county GOP meeting on the same night as a major sporting event, which tonight is college basketball championship. In January, it was college football championship. If we're going to have a GOP meeting on the same night as a freaking sports event, okay, can we please stop trying to half-ass and rush through the meetings? Please. Or, better yet, let's have a meeting on a night that does not conflict with the national sports events. Okay? Got it? I hope so. I hope you do, okay? But yeah, I mean, boy, if boy, I tell you, if I heard any talk of, there were so many mentions of basketball and he's playing night to me, I thought I was at a sports symposium instead of a GOP meeting. Like, please, people, get it together, okay? I come to these meetings to talk about politics. The sports is something else. Give me a break, people, okay? Really. Anyway, I am the conservative pelican. And I don't know. Anyway, I'm the conservative pelican. I want to get out of here now, okay? Hope you enjoyed this video. Bye-bye.